All right, let's jump right in. We're going to talk about a time when the fate of an entire kingdom might have been decided not on a battlefield, but inside a poem.
I know, it sounds a little dramatic, but what if I told you we're looking at a piece of writing that wasn't just art for art's sake? It was a weapon, a carefully crafted tool deployed right in the middle of a national crisis. So can a poem really change history? Well, let's see.
So, here's our roadmap. We'll start with the poem and its big secret. Then we'll set the stage, a kingdom in total crisis. After that, the fun part. We'll unmask the characters and crack the code. Then we'll see how poetry became a weapon. And finally, what kind of legacy all this left behind.
Okay, so first things first, our story kicks off with a poem that seems, like just a really, really well-written poem.
The poem is called Absalom and Achitophel. And when it hit the streets in 1681, people in literary circles were just floored. The language, the structure, the sheer artistry, it was immediately hailed as a total masterpiece. And it still is.
But, and this is the big but, what if all that beautiful poetry was just a disguise, a cover for a sharp, targeted, and incredibly powerful political message? A message designed specifically to manipulate public opinion and save a king who was losing his grip. That's the secret we're about to crack open.
Now, to get why a poet would have to get all cloak and dagger like this, we've got to understand the world he was living in. And let me tell you, 17th century England was tense. Like really, really tense. The whole period was called the Exclusion Crisis. And the problem was pretty simple, really. King Charles II didn't have any legitimate kids to take over. The person next in line? His brother, James. And the big problem? James was Catholic. When a completely made-up conspiracy theory called the Popish Plot got everyone freaking out about Catholics, Parliament tried to pass a law, the Exclusion Bill, to just cut James out of the line of succession entirely. The whole country was basically a tinderbox ready to explode into another civil war. And this just lays out the conflict perfectly. You've got two main players. On one side, there's James, the king's brother. He's the legal heir, but he's Catholic and nobody likes him. On the other side, you've got Monmouth, the king's son. He's Protestant, everybody loves him, but he's illegitimate. No legal right to the throne whatsoever. It was just a complete and total mess. So King Charles was in a really tough spot. His legal heir was a political nightmare. But if he caved to Parliament and picked his illegitimate son, it would basically destroy the whole idea of royal succession. He was losing the PR war big time, and he desperately needed something new in his arsenal. And this is where John Dryden, the official poet laureate, makes his move. He hands the king that brand new weapon he needs, but it's hidden inside something called an allegory. So what the heck is an allegory? Well, think of it like a story with a secret code. Every character, every event, everything in the story actually stands for something in the real world. It's a super clever way to talk about very dangerous, very real political stuff without actually naming any names. Now, Dryden's stroke of genius was choosing a story that everyone in England knew by heart, the Old Testament story of King David. In that story, David's handsome, popular son Absalom gets talked into rebelling against his own father by a wicked advisor named Achitophel. Sound familiar? And right here, the code becomes crystal clear. King David? Well, that's King Charles II, painted as this wise, patient, fatherly figure. The rebellious son, Absalom, that's the super popular Duke of Monmouth, shown not as evil, but as kind of naive and easily tricked. And the real bad guy, the evil advisor, Achitophel, that is a direct shot at the Earl of Shaftesbury, the king's #1 political enemy, the guy pushing that whole exclusion bill. Suddenly, the masks are off.
So now that we have the key, let's look at how this poem completely transforms. It stops being a Bible story and becomes a surgical, political takedown. Honestly, that's the best way to think about it. This poem was designed to do exactly what a modern attack ad does. It praises its own side, absolutely demolishes the opponent, and completely reframes the whole argument for the public. And Dryden? He was a master. I mean, just listen to this description of Achitophel, the Earl of Shaftesbury. Dryden paints him as this purely ambitious, evil force of nature. This isn't just a disagreement, it's total character assassination, all wrapped up in these perfect, powerful rhyming lines. But then, Look at how he describes Absalom, the Duke of Monmouth. It's almost sad. He's not a monster. He's a pawn, a fool who fell for a trick, manipulated by someone way smarter and way more evil. And that was such a clever way to peel public support away from him. So you can see the strategy here, right? It's a simple, brilliant three-part attack. Step 1, praise the king, make him look like a patient, forgiving father. Step 2, use satire to just destroy his main rival, Shaftesbury. And step 3, convince everyone that this whole crisis wasn't the will of the people, it was the evil plan of one bad man.
So, the million-dollar question. Did it actually work? Did this piece of poetry, this attack ad, really change anything?
The answer is a huge, emphatic yes. Absalom and Achitophel isn't just a famous poem. It's considered the single most influential political poem in the entire history of the English language. Its effect was massive and almost immediate.
The poem sold out pretty much instantly. It was all anyone could talk about, and it really did help shift public opinion back toward the king. The energy behind the exclusion bill just fizzled out. King Charles defeated it, held on to power, and his brother eventually became king. In the end, Dryden didn't just write a poem. He helped shape reality and prove that political satire could be an incredibly powerful force in public life for centuries to come.
And that right there is the biggest lesson from this whole story. What Dryden did was prove that art, whether it's poetry or music or anything else, is never just decoration. It's not just entertainment. It's one of the most powerful tools we have to shape how people see the world. And because of that, it can be an instrument of incredible power.
Which kind of leaves us with one last thing to think about. Dryden used a poem. Today, the weapon might be a movie, a hit song, a viral meme, a TV show. So where do you see that same powerful collision between art and politics happening in our world right now?